Hi, I am Sabrina Henry, and today I'm going to talk with you about development and insights, how to manage your stress, and some tips on what to do, and also give you a few tips on how to help an adolescent that might be experiencing some issues. Have you ever felt stressed, felt down, felt like you're just handling too much, and feel like you're drowning? Well, you are not alone. Stay with me today as I give you some tips on how to manage your stress and also to identify your stresses because these helped me and I'm hoping that they will help you too. So I started out realizing I was getting angry. My patience was short. My sleep was being interrupted. I was just not hanging out with friends or family. I wasn't having any fun. I was bombarded with all the things that I had to do, all the duties, all the expectations, being a wife, being a sister, being a grandmother, being a friend, a mother. It was just so much. Being a good neighbor, it's so much. And also being a great coworker, it was taking on a toll. It was a toll on me trying to perfect all of these tasks and stuff. And so I realized that my stress level had caused me to be on medication for high blood pressure. And I was also eating things I never normally ate. And so I had to make a decision for myself to protect my health and my general well being so I can be a better person for me and for the general public and my family. So I decided to find out what my stressors were and figure out some ways how to manage. So one of the main things that was stressing me out, along with the other things, was my aim of trying to help an adolescent that was going through a lot of things. This adolescent was very stubborn. He was experiencing identity crisis versus role confusion, which is considered psychological moratorium and identity moratorium, according to Erickson. In this stage, the child was confused about what he wanted to do, wasn't sure of making a sensible decision as to what he wanted to do after school, what type of jobs he wanted to do. And going back and forth with this adolescent created a lot of stress for me. He was also exhibiting some risky behaviors, vaping, changing partners too often, hanging out way past bedtime and stuff like that. And according to Freud's psychoanalytic theory, these are caused by unconscious motives. It's like the person is not really choosing to do this, but something inside of them is causing them to do this. It could be childhood experiences, interpersonal relationships, and all of these help to shape the person's personality and some of their choices. Another thing with him was that he was having difficulty seeing other people's point of view. In this formal operational stage of life, according to Piaget, we could discuss ideas with him about morals and justice and consequences and worldviews, but he was locked in with that egocentrism that he's also going through, which is a part of his developmental stage. And so we need ego for us to have physical and psychological survival, according to Freud and Miller, but there has to be a balance. And so we try to do several different things with this adolescent to help him so he doesn't fail, but it is still a struggle. We had a little bit of growth in some areas, but it's still a struggle. So with this adolescent going through all of this, the confusion created stress for the adolescent, which also created stress for me because I was trying to help this adolescent because we were going back and forth with him talking about the way of dress, the sagging pants, the vaping. And so my developmental stage was clashing with his, and that was adding to my stress. But we never gave up, we kept going. The theories of this person's other development talk about Erickson's theory of identity crisis versus role confusion. So we gave support, we provided a safe environment, we ensured that we allowed this person to explore what they valued and the interests that they had, even though we weren't in agreement all the time. But that also added to the stress of just not coming to a conclusion that would work for everyone. So according to Piaget's formal operational thinking stage, we had to engage this person in discussions about love, talk about politics, social issues, the consequences that would take place if he went out and did things out in the streets that he's not supposed to do, the law and breaking the law and all of those things. We asked him a lot of what if questions to get him beyond the thoughts of trial and error because at this stage, an adolescent is, in this thought process of, let me just figure out this thing. It might work, but you can't have them do that all the time because that would create more problems. So Piaget's discussion regarding egocentrism reminds us that another important consequence of adolescent egocentrism is the personal fable, or the belief that they are unique, they're special, nothing will harm them. So there's that consistent battle of trying to get them to be sensible and then contradict what they're thinking. So this developmental phase showed up boldly with this adolescent, and it was a consistent uphill battle. But as he navigated, his own experiences and he started to see how the law works and how things in society works, and that things were not always progressing for him according to his choice. Now, working to help him caused me stress. And so Bronfenbrenner reminded us that we are impacted by so many different things. And then to me, the older you get, the more responsibilities you tend to take on. So we are impacted by society, different aspects of society. So it wasn't only the adolescent that was stressing me out, there was other things going on. But then not managing my stress was causing problem. And that is dangerous. And so that is why I decided to do something. Now, some of my stress was related to my childhood trauma. I was not allowed to rest. Resting would equate to laziness. We had all this responsibility. Not getting it done will get punished. Hanging out with your friends would mean that you're socializing or wasting time, or you're being inappropriate, especially if the person was of the opposite sex. So some of this is connected to. Now, I had to come to a decision of managing my stress, because if I didn't, then I would have been in a problem or would not be here to tell my story. Some of the things I started doing was following Bandura's concept of self-efficacy. I decided to believe in myself and think that I can do it, and I would have to work on my goal and stick to it. Now, doing this will help to motivate you. Bandura's concept of self-regulation, monitoring and evaluating my own behavior also helped me. I set the goals. I was determined I was going to make myself better, and I did just that. It wasn't easy at all, but I had some losses along the way, but I kept going. I also did a journal where I was writing about my positive thoughts as well as my negative thoughts. And I exercised, I danced, I walked a lot. I started meditating, even though I never believed in it before. I started doing that and some different breathing techniques. I also used an app on my phone called Calm, and another one is Headspace. I started spending time with positive people, socializing more. I also started saying no to tasks that were probably too much. I started setting some boundaries, still hard for me. I'm taking breaks, I'm unwinding more and also relaxing. I also start doing more things that are fun and breaking the routines, which is also hard. And I'm also practicing mindfulness. Good at slowing down, but I am learning. So according to Bandura's social cognitive theory, which is the ability, self-regulation is the ability to monitor, judge, and evaluate one's own behavior against personal standards and environmental circumstances. This includes setting goals, self-monitoring, and self-reaction, which is part of what I'm doing. And guess what? You can do it too. It was not easy for me, but baby steps are important. I had some growth. One of the most major growth that I've had is that I'm off the high blood pressure medication. I have gotten better at accepting the things that I cannot change. I spend more time with family and friends. I am calmer. I'm realizing I'm happier. I have limited my workload and tasks that are optional. I feel better about myself. My trust in myself and others have gotten better. I am also prioritizing my health. I'm resting more and I'm having more fun. And my adolescent also had some growth. He's listening a little bit more. The dress has improved. The hairstyle, we're still working on that part. And the choice in friends and stuff like that, we're still working on that. But growth is growth, and tiny steps are important. So some of the impact we had was that we had discussions with this adolescent. We talked about their choices, and we provided a lot of guidance, giving prompting and having a lot of discussion, and also trying to let this adolescent understand how the law works and how society impacts you as well as how you impact society, and like the dangers of making certain choices. Because when this adolescent is having this confusion, it causes him to be stressed, and then his stress flows over to cause stress onto my life. And so we've been working on all this confusion and all the stuff that he's experiencing. So there were times when I felt helpless, and there were moments when we had small wins and it was hard to accept them, but we had to, because a win is a win. And I didn't always have success with myself either. Slowing down is still a problem for me, and prioritizing or managing self-doubt is still an issue, but I'm getting better. And like I said, a win is a win. So set a goal so big that you can't achieve it until you grow into the person you can be. My advice and my encouragement to you today is that I want to let you know you're not alone. Focus on your growth even while you're helping others. Small improvements are important too. Give yourself grace. Seek help when needed. Value your health and well being enough to want to be better and do better. You can and you will. So, I will advise you today to start small, do something for yourself. Comment in the area below to let me know what you're going to do for yourself and one thing you're going to do to. As I end this presentation today, I want to let you know that the developmental theories that I studied, I learned about how to help myself and how to help an adolescent, and I do understand some of the aspects and the stages throughout these different stages. Time helps, as Bandura reminds us that motivation is key in our own growth and development. I will continue to use self-efficacy in managing my stress and believing that I can help this adolescent to strive and have success too. Success looks different for each person, and accepting this fact will ease some of the concerns and lessen my stress. We have a lot to accomplish, and as we go through monitoring this life, we have to remember that if we need help, we should seek help. And I am still struggling with this because I was raised to be independent and get things done and get moving and not delay. So that is ingrained in me. And I think that is part of my stress, that I was trained not to rest or slow down. But as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that that is not always possible. You have to slow down for your own benefit and so that you can be good for you, you can be good for others, you can be good for your family, and be a better human for, for society. So I will let you know that if you intend to be a better person, you have to start somewhere, and a small step is still a step. And I really appreciated being in this class and learning so much about psychology and all our developmental stages. And I have learned that as an adult, I don't know everything. I thought I was there. I thought I was at a stage in life where, being this old, I would have already navigated the things that I used to hear about as a child. I'm like, I thought I got it, but I don't. So it's okay not to know. It's okay to need help. Seek help. Don't give up. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. So you are not alone. And as perfect as I thought I was, I am quickly realizing that I cannot do this alone. And like Lev Vygotsky prompted us that we should seek help because it is a social connection, and society relies on me. I rely on society. And even if it's not a direct link, we are all impacting each other. So slow down, slow down. Take some time for yourself. Believe in yourself and understand that you are of value and you're here for a reason. So you want to enjoy life and enjoy it as stress-free as possible. Stress is always going to be around, but learn to manage it, because that is key. Managing your stress is very important. I wish you the best. I know you can. I know you will. Don't give up. You can do this one day at a time. You are worth something. You can do it.